Brother, I feel terrible. I made a post like, I don't know, a week ago about those fucking, those closures at Xbox. And I'll admit, I was hyped up, okay? I was very mad. I was very fucking upset. But I still think that there's truth in my rant. I think that we have to change the way these games are funded. I want to do some history lesson here. Not the full fucking history of Russia type shit, but like, I want to do, I want to talk about the entire situation in retrospect. Now that I've had time to like calm down and really absorb it and what it means. So, across the industry, across the entire fucking US economy really, we've been seeing a sponge getting squeezed out in terms of technology, right? There are multiple contributing factors. One being sorry, I had to sneeze. Multiple contributing factors, one being AI, right? Talked about this videos ago, but like the only solution there is to pivot. AI is not useful. I'm sorry, AI is useful, but it's not as useful as investors and business owners think it is. It is not as advanced as people think it is. You cannot use it to create new worlds. You cannot use it to create new video games. Because AI draws from a pool of knowledge, and unless you're content with remaking shit that people have already made, like you're content with everyone having a Power World, forevermore, like a Digimon to every Pokemon, you're okay with that. You're going to find yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, make the names of this town and these people. Yeah, sure. This Moon Shadow, those are the Night Elves. It's like, okay, those exist. Can you, like, make up a culture? Yeah, sure. Here's a culture, and then he just spits out Middle Earth. Like, AI is trained on everything that's come before. It's trained on people who have come before. It's trained on fiction that's come before. And so anything AI tells you is necessarily going to be inspired by or directly copying from, mostly directly copying from, those previous works. It can't synthesize new shit yet. It will one day, I'm sure, but certainly not now. So AI isn't there, but it's perceived as being there, and so it doesn't really matter how useful it is because we're in a speculative market and have been for as long as I can fucking remember, actually. Next is that during COVID, in order to make your stocks look good, you kind of have to like do what the market expects you to do, right? If you have a bunch of investors and they're like, yo, why aren't you hiring right now? And you're like, well, we like to keep the team lean. The investors are just going to say, okay, I'm going to go fuck off now. And then the other investors are going to be like, whoa, 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 why is the stock going down? Now I have to pull out because I don't want to lose money. And then it just becomes like a collapsing wave. It's absolutely fucking horrendous. The point is that like you have to hire. You had to hire during COVID. You had to. Even if you didn't want to, you had to. And now we're seeing that like, oh, we don't really need all these people. Like, thanks Elon for tightening the belt on Twitter and making everyone realize, oh, you can run a website as big as Twitter with as many users as Twitter with like fucking 30 engineers. Wow, who would have known? Well, we did, but we didn't want to fucking tell them that because it's a lot of money. We all know how we came here, okay? I'm not like the fucking Primogen. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, dude, I'm here for the love of coding. No, I'm here because the money was here. And it still is. And it probably always will be because we're a technological world. If you want money, then you should probably adapt and get ready for the cyberpunk future that awaits all of us. Another reason, of course, is that Game Pass is not what the fuck Xbox thought it was going to be. I know there's some people out there saying shit like, oh, you know, gamers, they like to own their games. Gamers don't like to own their games. They don't give a fuck about ownership. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Gamers give a fuck about ownership. Consumers don't give a fuck about ownership. But the market is run by consumers. It is not run by gamers. And it has been run by gamers ever since gaming blew up into a mainstream thing. I don't know what to think for that. Definitely not Fortnite. Fortnite came way too late. No, this became a consumer thing way before Fortnite. Maybe Halo 3? You'd argue? I don't have this guy yet? Well, I don't want him now. But at some point, consumers started flooding into the gaming market. We had people who didn't play video games now playing video games, which is cool, which we thought was cool at first. But now we kind of realize, oh wait, we probably should have gatekept this. Because now consumers with no real interest in the health of the industry are the ones who are running it. While gamers are over here on the sidelines, making it known, yo, I'm not renting video games, are you stupid? And companies don't care because you are like a fraction of their profit. It's fantastic, I love to see it. Anyways, they realized that, oh wait, there's only so many fucking consumers of video games, and this doesn't scale infinitely. They absolutely know it doesn't scale infinitely. There's no fucking doubt about that. But they probably didn't expect it to run out so soon. I'm sure their projected growth was way higher than what the fuck happened with Game Pass. Game Pass has hit its cap. its profits have not grown. And there are some people who are like, I get it, we probably should have seen this coming. Game Pass probably was never going to be profitable. Because the business model is that, okay, I get to play any game I want for as long as I want, as long as I pay the $12 a month fee. What? It's not, it's a Netflix thing. The issue is, like, with Netflix, you can turn your brain off and binge that all day, and like, actually, I don't know, is Netflix profitable? I have to look that up, hold on. My instinct tells me that it's absolutely not profitable, because otherwise they wouldn't have raised the subscription price up. And they wouldn't have disabled stream sharing, right? Password sharing shit. They wouldn't have cracked down on it if it was profitable. Let's go to like 2022. How's it doing there? Yeah, it's plenty profitable. So why'd they crack down? To make more money. Okay, whatever. Whatever, dude. I don't fucking care. The point is it's profitable. So I don't know what the fuck Xbox is going to do. It doesn't work for video games. There's just not that many people who play video games. Like, I'm not saying like it's niche, because video games have definitely gone mainstream, but look what the fuck I'm playing now. Who's going to play this? Consumers? No. Gamers are playing this, right? They're going to say, wow, look at the graphics. They're kind of cute. Very cute graphics. Kind of dog shit, though. I mean, look at this lady. What happened to her arm? Look at her face. For me as a fucking player, as a gamer, I'm like, yo, this is a clean aesthetic. I love this. I love how they've leaned into it, you know? What I'm trying to say here is that shit's not profitable, and they had to reevaluate their strategy. And that means that, yeah, can't be doing this shit anymore. Gotta cut some jobs. Gotta get more money back. The worst part is, like, it feels like they were cutting shit randomly, right? So I want the history lesson. They started cutting shit. We have these reasons why they did it. There's probably more. It feels like leadership at every company, when it comes to cutting jobs and saying who's valuable and who's not valuable, none of them are competent enough to be able to really tell you. They're just kind of guessing. They'd rather close out entire studios than just cut the fat on all studios. And I'll tell you, Bethesda has some fucking fat on it. Bethesda's a big boy, okay? There's a lot of jobs that could go, and Bethesda would be just fine. But I don't think they're educated enough on game development in order to like cut those jobs. So Tango Arcane Lion? What did Lion do? I'm pretty sure they did Prey, because that's what I was fucking crying about in my post the other day. Deathloop as well? Oh god. Yeah, man. Damn it. And like, you can justify it for Redfall like, ooh, that's disgusting. This is a disgusting game right here. This game's trash. Not just because of its technical issues, but like the concept itself. Like, I say this all the time, pre-planning is the best part about game development, okay? Is where your game is made. You shouldn't be thinking, oh yeah, we're just going to fix it in the middle, bro. No. In pre-production, everything needs to be laid in stone, needs to be clad. Pre-production is your Bible, and these guys, they had a shitty pre-production, I could tell, because where are these concepts? Yes, here's my ex-boyfriend, who is a ghost, and he helps me out in combat sometimes. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's like XD quirky random from some 50-year-old guy. It's like, come on, man. No, that wasn't going to work. That's not cool. Nobody wants that. Who's going to think that's cool? Or mechanically interesting. Like, it's thematically interesting as far as, oh yeah, she has a dead ex-boyfriend. Nice. Whatever, man. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm meandering a bit. Whatever. It's a rat. I'm meandering. But, like, the point is that they killed Tango. Those other two studios, I don't know who the fuck they were. I don't know what the fuck they made. Doesn't really matter to me. It shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have been in there in the first place, we're honest. But, yeah, it's kind of fucked because they killed Tango. And those guys made Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was objectively a success. On every fucking metric you can imagine, apparently it was a success. Xbox even said as much, right? It was a success and they shut up. They shut down. They're gone. Whether that was because on the books they were like, okay, we gotta close this division because we are focusing on the US market. Right? They got really bullish about the US market. Or because they were like, uninformed, I guess. I don't know. Who the fuck made the decision? Surely it wasn't Xbox president who made every single cut. She probably is like an advisory board who tells her, yeah, this is probably who has to go. So I would blame the advisory board. Who the fuck are the advisory board? Where is the accountability? That has always been the problem with all of these issues, like in the gaming industry. Like, brother, are you okay? I have a mod that uncaps the speed, and so situations like that might happen. Hey, you're gonna be alright? Somebody help that guy. Anyway, they got shut down, despite their game being a success, and it scared pretty much every developer, because they're like, wait, I thought they closed studios because they were dog shit games, right? Because they made dog shit games, but They just closed a fucking studio that did fantastic, and so that means that I have no job security, because even if I did, I was having trouble getting on this snake. Even if I did make a perfect game, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm safe from the acts. And yeah, it's true. You're not safe. I'm glad to see developers like getting in an uproar about this, but it's far too late. It's far too late to be over here stressing about how the games are made, right? How the cookie crumbles. It's way too late. Oh, I missed this. What the fuck? That's crazy. All of this shit coalescing on the video game industry in particular is kind of fucked, because we are very saturated right now. It is not easy. Hell, in tech in general, we are very saturated. What this is doing, luckily, is just making more people create their own studios, right? But it doesn't fix the issue that all these games will struggle with, no matter if you made your own studio or not. The incentive design structure behind how we develop and fund video games is completely fucking broken. It's absolutely fucked. It doesn't matter what studio you are, as long as you get under a publisher, and those are the people who give you money, right? As long as you get under a publisher, you are doomed. Eventually that publisher will either let you go, buy you out, or fail you. And there shouldn't be publishers determining the fate of entire studios, entire IPs. I think what makes me the most upset is that these publishers have gobbled up every cool IP, every cool world, every cool idea that you can think of. And these games will never receive a sequel. They will never receive a fucking fan remake, because you're not... unless like you get explicit permission, which very few fans get. You're not allowed to recreate their works. It's infringing on their IP. And we have IPs out here that last, like, Winnie the Pooh lasted for 95 years. It took 95 years for that to hit the public domain. Like, you should not give ownership of your world up to a publisher. I didn't hit those on the train, oh my god. There's some on the inside of the train. How do I get to that? Yeah, there's 3 up there. I have no idea where to fucking hit that. That's crazy. There's 4 spots. Fuck. I hope that, like, we're eventually able to get to this point where we don't have to worry about this shit. We get to this point where we're able to make games because we want to fucking make them. I hope we get to this point where IPs are given up, given back to the people who make them. The entire concept behind a fucking intellectual property is kind of fucked. I get it in the moment, but the fact that the shit... Winnie the Pooh, 95 years, 100 years before Winnie the Pooh hit public domain. Nobody gives a fuck about Winnie the Pooh. Mickey Mouse, not Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie hit public domain, which isn't Mickey Mouse apparently. But okay, sure, whatever. Like, before this, it was fucking illegal to have the mouse ears anywhere, like, in videos or whatever the fuck. It was illegal. So, like, like, you get a cease and desist letter. It's crazy. And then, like, I've told this story before about, like, Pokemon Uranium, and how these guys, after 7 years of working on this fucking game, Nintendo cracks down their fucking heads, like, 1.5 days into release. All about work down the drain. All gone. It's all about intellectual property. And then these companies are allowed to stay on top because they own these IPs. They really do own the intellectual property. It's not owned by actual developers. We gotta stop selling our shit out. But, like, when you're getting a bag, like... The head of Senua's studio, that guy's out there living his best life on a boat, on a yacht, surrounded by a bunch of girls. And it's like, I can't hate him, right? I can't hate this guy. He's living it up. Good for you. But, like, look what you've done to your studio. Oh my god. I didn't talk about Senua. Oh god. So, all this was happening, and I've kind of just been sitting here. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing my own shit. I wanted to talk about NPCs. Next, I want to talk about quest design, because that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of cool, like, ways that you could do quest design. I want to talk about that a lot, because I feel like most people don't talk about it enough. Like, they give you, like, a surface level. I like to go deep. I like to dig in, talk about this shit. But, like, while I was doing my own shit and just kind of, like, waiting for all this to blow over, Senua's Sacrifice came out. Or whatever the fuck it's called. Listen, I didn't play the first Senua. I know a lot of people liked it. I don't give a fuck about artsy-fartsy games. I never have. I play video games because they're video games. I don't really play video games, like, to be... I don't want to say spoken down to. That's bad faith. Let me not say that. How would I characterize artsy-fartsy video games? Artsy-fartsy sounds like I'm putting it down as well. I didn't play Grease. Or however you say that. Like, there's a lot of these games that, they're very pretty. They look very good. but you can tell there's no like substantive gameplay. The reason I play video games is for the gameplay. I'm not really interested in graphics. They don't really bother me. That's, as you can probably tell, like, once again. Look at this woman. Do I give you the impression I give a fuck about graphics? What I'm trying to get across here is that, like, I'm not a fan of this franchise. I have nothing invested in this franchise. But I know a lot of people are excited for it. But they got like the heebie-jeebies. Like there was some like Second Instinct shit going on with this game because like there was no marketing, which is crazy. Because as one of the few franchise Xbox has left, you expect some type of marketing, right? But there's a couple trailers, like 3 trailers total, and then that's it. And gamers are kind of speculating, okay, it feels like you guys kind of blew your load. And developer was like, okay, the game's 8 hours long, but $50. Whew. Okay, 8 hours long, $50. Let's see what's up. Everyone's feeling bad, and no one's feeling it. No one's feeling good. They're like, oh god, especially after these layoffs, you guys might be next. Ninja Theory and Ninja Theory are really good developers, so like, what the fuck? Please don't be bad. And then it came out, or rather, embargoes are starting to lift. And I just watched a review before sitting down just now, and Luke Stefan, that nigga said, "It's a disaster." Oh god. That's not what I want to hear. What do you mean it's a disaster? Oh no. Old boy said like they were just it was 5 hours first of all, and he plays at a leisurely pace. I play my video games kind of fast. I'm a fast gamer, okay, super fast gamer, and so I can imagine that he's probably a fast gamer too. Going by like the other like times he said how long he thinks a game is versus like going to how long to beat. I think that the accurate time for this game is probably 6 hours, so it's definitely not the 8 hours that the team said it was. So that's kind of bad already. Then the puzzles, it was literally a walking simulator. I know that everyone thinks we've moved past walking simulators. We have not moved past walking simulators. At $50, that means you paid $10 for every hour of gameplay. Like, oh my god, $10 for every hour of gameplay. Like, if I can go to a movie and spend less than $50 and get a game that is and watch just a bunch of fucking movies in a row and pay the same price. Hell, I'd probably pay less. I'd probably pay like $30 total across all those fucking movies for the exact same amount of game time that I spent on Hellblade. Well, once again, I didn't play this. I'm not interested in artsy-fartsy games. Especially ones that deal with trauma, because like those are always like the super confusing. Okay, yeah, nothing makes sense. I get that's not supposed to make sense, but it doesn't really make it entertaining. He said the combat's worse. Not really sure what they were doing on that because they said they improved it. But apparently the improvements have been minimal. And that's kind of sad. The graphics are better. More realistic. I don't know who told you guys that realism is what we should base game's quality on. I wish this would stop. Realism is absolutely fucking terrible. But okay, every cinematic experience. It's going to be a cinematic experience. Like, it's... I don't know, man. Apparently this is just a shit show. Apparently it's a fucking train wreck. It's not buggy or anything. It's not a mess. It's just bad. It's just not a great game. It's just not a great continuation. Who the fuck is that? It's not a great continuation of what the first game set up, apparently. Once again, this isn't really about the game though. It's about the fact that, okay, there was a lot riding on this kinda. Because other than Indiana Jones, what the fuck does Xbox have coming out that people give a fuck about, right? Nothing, right? Like Indiana Jones. It's just Indiana Jones. It's like, this flopped. Actually, I don't know if this flopped. It might not have flopped. Okay, no, that is. But it's not good. And considering that Xbox is cutting a bunch of teams, it's not looking good for Ninja Theory. No, I'm not challenging you, dog. Fuck off. It's not great. It's not great at all. I'm worried. I wish there was a faster way to, like, pivot and go a different direction. It's super strange that, apparently, like, I can't get over that the game was bad. It feels like anticlimactic. Like, it feels like there should have been a hero story where they should have come out from the ashes and it's like, okay, everyone feels relieved because we have another success. There's no way they would do that fucking shit with Tango twice, right? But $50 for 5 hours. I'm sorry, 6 hours gameplay realistically. $50? This should be a $30 game. This should be a DLC at the first game. There's some people who like short games. I get it. Have your artsy-fartsy game. There's no replay value in this, so once you experience it once, it's over. This is really just high-class art. That's what it feels like. I gotta stop characterizing it badly, but I can't help it, bro. I hate this shit. I think it's probably done more harm than good for a lot of the industry. But if it's the vision you want, then I can't knock it, right? Doesn't make sense for me to knock it. I pray for those guys' success, bro. Ninja Theory puts out some cool games. Or rather, they have some cool IPs. It really doesn't matter what the fuck the quality of their team is right now. I don't think their team's really set up to be fighting Naughty Dog at all. But goddamn it. I feel like I want to see another closure. I want to feel terrible again. But I don't like seeing studio closures. I like seeing my industry getting shafted like this. I don't really like it with software engineering either, but like, I'm intimate with video games, you know? Unlike software engineering where I do that for the fucking money, I do video games because I love video games. The money is inconsequential. Like, fully I do not give a fuck about the money that I make with the video game. Earlier I talked about, we have to change the way that, like, we fund these games, we develop these games, because, like, publishers are dog shit. I'm thinking that, like, I'm getting to this point. I watched, the video from Works about Starfield's development, and, like, he had a rant at the end about the amount of developers it took to write all of Morrowind shit, versus the amount of developers it took to write all of Starfield shit. There's one Morrowind developer who writes, apparently. I'm sorry, no, not one. There's, like, a small handful of people who write. On Starfield, there was like 1 or 2 writers. When you go to the credits of Starfield, and you look at the writers, it's Emil, and then a couple of people after. I'm almost positive those guys are contractors, but we don't know. And it makes me think, like, okay, there's something absolutely paradoxical, there's something weird about seeing a team that has 1,000 people on it. 2,000 in the case of Starfield, God knows. And then putting out a product that is like Starfield is. This isn't a Starfield exclusive issue, this is a mini-game issue. I think that we have teams that are bloated in size, and it ruins the ability to make decisions in a lot of fucking cases. I think that the sweet spot for a fucking video game development team is probably 50. And anything above that is kind of crazy, it's kind of fucked. Like 100? Maybe. 200? Maybe. Like, you can justify it by saying, okay, it's going to be a big game. But 1,000? With contractors and all? If you have to pull in contractors, that's how you know the team's too big. I'm sorry, wait. No, that doesn't make any fucking sense. If you have contractors, that means the game's too big. Because, the vision's inconsistent at that point. I'll tell you, when you're a fucking contractor, when you're doing this shit, hey, Mr. No Insurance, we would like you to do XYZ, and, thanks. Like, contracting is not the same as consulting. Consulting is when you actually have feedback to give on a game. You can actually steer the ship a little bit. As a contractor, you do not get to steer the fucking ship. Nobody gives a fuck what you think. You're a contractor. What do you know about our game? Nothing. And so you're going to do whatever the fuck they tell you to do, but you're not going to have the full context as to why they're making the decisions they're making. And so when you're making it, you're making things in a vacuum. Like, Pac-Man works when you're in the vacuum of Pac-Man. Pac-Man does not work if you are a Call of Duty developer. You know what I mean? Like, there's something very strange about people who have no idea what this game is about making the game. If we're using contractors, we're fucked. I think that, but at the same time, like, I don't think we need contractors. I don't think it's necessary at all. Like, I'm not the one making these decisions on these fucking massive fucking teams. I'm not that guy. I never will be that guy. I never want to be that guy. Baldur's Gate 3 did great with this fucking 200... How many people were on the team? We looked at Larian, staff, size. They have a total of 449 employees. So, like, they have about 400 people. That's across the entire company. So if we're talking about developers, it's probably like 200 developers. There's gotta be a lot of PR. There's gotta be a lot of support. There's gotta be a lot of, like, brand management and shit like that. So I imagine that's going to be somewhere around the 200 mark of actual employees who work on video games. And they're making 2 video games in tandem right now. And they put out Baldur's Gate 3. And that game is fucking massive. And everyone knows that game is massive. And it's super high quality. With 200 developers, they did that. What the fuck are we doing over here on Starfield? How big is Bethesda? Actually, it doesn't fucking matter how big Bethesda is, because those guys make too many fucking video games. I don't know how they're structured. But, like, Starfield definitely had all hands on deck. It had multiple studios across different industries partnering with Bethesda in order to put the shit out the door. And, it came out, and it was relatively bug-free. You can find bugs if you're looking hard enough, but that's with every video game. It's not a Starfield thing. But, like, it was good. The way it was put out, it was stable. And they had a lot of help. So it was a lot of employees. We know that for sure. Way more than Larian. And they put out a game that is nowhere near as good, nowhere near as deep, nowhere near as content dense. And it makes sense because of space. If you moved all the content in Starfield onto, like, one planet, would that convey? Would that translate as being, yeah, this is as big as Baldur's Gate 3? That's kind of the scary thing. I don't think it would. I'm not convinced. I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate 3 would still be bigger. It would still be more dense. But I guess that, like, I'm measuring the quality of the content as well. Like, because of course the stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. I don't know, man. I feel I'm confused as shit. I don't know what's going to happen. Hellblade was a flop. I shouldn't say that as if it's like guaranteed, as if it's like absolutely fucking true just because Luke said it. But I respect this guy's opinions on games, and so like when I hear this guy say, "Yeah, I wanted to love this," it's not gonna work. Oh no. What do you mean it's not gonna work? Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I think that, like, when it comes to the structuring of our studios, we need to start working on, like, okay, first of all, accountability is important, right? It's important that we know who is making this industry shittier, who's making shitty games, who has shitty ideas, because not everyone that has an idea is a good idea, okay? I think that your ideas guy is the most important person on your team. I truly believe that. If your ideas guy has shitty ideas, you are going to make a shitty or mediocre product. It doesn't matter how skilled your developers are. Developer skill can only translate with an ideas guy that tells you how the fucking idea should go. And the ideas guy is usually a director. So we need to have, like, a blacklist. I'm sorry, not a blacklist. We need to have some type of IMDb. You know what I'm saying? We need to have some type of accountability for who's directing these games, who's on the team leads, and then saying, okay, how is their work in this title? Dog shit. Okay. If they're on the next game, I don't want it. I don't want to play it. Like, once again, we can do this with movies. I said this in a video about hunting game developers, and like, people thought, you might think I was fucking joking with that video title. No, we should hunt the developers who failed us. I believe that truly. I believe that you should be able to look at a list, see who's on the list, and say, okay, I'm not going to buy this fucking game. I don't think it needs to be as fucking radical as wherever the fuck the witch hunt is with, I have no idea what the fuck's going on there. I'm not even going to comment on Sweet Baby. I'm not going to comment on it. That shit is none of my business. I feel like a lot of movements, it probably started off with good intentions, like, yeah, it's kind of fucked to try to get this guy off, but it's kind of evolved into something that's kind of disgusting. I'm sorry. I said I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not going to talk about it. That's bad. Bad, motherfucker. So accountability is the number one thing that has to be there. 2, we have to, like, normalize smaller teams making bigger games. Alright? Don't let anyone fool you into saying, yeah, I love small games. That those guys are losers, those guys are boring, they have nothing going on in their fucking lives, and they like small games because they are burnt out and sad. Alright? Big games are where it's at. Everyone loves big games. Everyone loves big, good games. Alright? No one wants a small game. No one wants a fucking weak game. That's just trash. We want big games. If you want a small game, play indie or whatever. Because, like, you want... Hellblade's over here. It is a AAA small game, and this is probably not what you wanted. Stop asking for it. Oh my god. So we needed to change the incentive structure. We need to change the employee size. We need to change a lot of fucking things. I'm not even sure where to start or how to structure something like that. The accountability thing is easy, right? You just make a fucking database. Just make a public fucking database. Make it open for all. And just have your list of names. And then we're going to have a ranking system, right? Developer put out this new game, and here's how the rank is going to look. And it's going to be like a leaderboard of fucking video game developers. It's going to be super cool. And it's going to incentivize people to do their best, no matter what the game is, because it's going to impact their fucking ranking. How cool would that be? I'm putting this idea out there because I'm not sure if I want to be the one to do it and maintain it, because maintaining it is an important part. It would probably have to be a community effort. Next, we would have to change the way we develop video games. Something that Outward's developers pride themselves on is that they said, we wanted to prove we can make a video game without crunch. Alright, yeah, nice work. Everyone knows you can make a video game without crunch. Crunch is here because we have this feature, and we can't do shit until this guy's done with his shit, so we kind of have to wait on him. Like, making everything in parallel is kind of difficult, so we need to, like, change the method in which we use to develop video games. That's why I kind of bring it back to pre-production. Like, in pre-production, if you have a plan, and you say, okay, these are the things that are reliant on these things. Like, we have dependencies, right? Like, I can't make this until you make this. I can't make a door until you make the fucking house, Jack. How big is the house? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I'm not done making the house yet. I don't know how big it's going to be. What's the material on the house, Jack? I don't know. I can't make the door material if I don't know the house material. Wood, maybe? What kind of wood? What shade of wood? What's the color of the wood? I don't know. I have to make the house first. Alright, can you make the house so I can make the door? It's literally the only thing I have to do this week. And that's where crunch comes in, right? Jack is going to crunch over the fucking weekend because he needs to get this house made so I can make my fucking door. That's not always how it fucking goes. But when I think about crunch, it's usually in the context of, alright, we need help. We need the shit done. We need it done yesterday. With solid pre-production, that shit doesn't matter. Because Jack is going to list down the exact materials he's going to use. He's going to list down the color. Hell, he might even fucking make the material during pre-production and then put it inside a fucking library folder on Google Drive or something. Or the fucking server for the office, if you guys have a server. Not everyone has a server these days. Now we're kind of entrusting it to Google, not like that, but whatever. Crunch has justification. Whatever. That's besides the point as well. So our developers like, yo, we're gonna make a game without crunch. Nice work. I'm clapping for you. You're so impressive. You're so cool for making a game without crunching. Nice work. Wasn't the best game of the year, but it was okay. It was okay, and it was fun. I enjoyed playing it. I'm excited for Outward 2. I'm so excited, actually. Super excited to see how you guys do with that. Hope it's way better than the first. The first felt like Eurojank. I gotta stop doing a sidetrack like this. There's a lot of things that have to change, is my point. A lot of things. I hope those things change. I hope, like, we find a method. I hope we get, like a constitution for companies and for IPs, and, like, I hope we're able to, like, one day overturn this stupid shit. Like, make all this stop. But I don't think we're going to be able to. I have a feeling that we're not. These closures are way too fucking scary to be happening this often, you know what I mean? Where is that leading me? Where the fuck is that leading me? Okay, whatever. We're done, bro. I'll put up the next video whenever the fuck I want to, because I'm not on the schedule, and you can eat shit.